Hey guys, it's Dennis with Collider Games. I'm also joined by,
What's up, guys? It's your boy D here.
and we're talking about Assassin's Creed, but not Assassin's Creed the video game, but Assassin's Creed the live action TV series, which I guess Netflix and Ubisoft announced today that they were going to make this live action series for Netflix, possibly animated series in the works. It seems like they're following this kind of trend that Netflix is doing out after the success of The Witcher, with developing these live action series and animated. They're also, I think, doing the same thing with Resident Evil. What do you think about this in general? Of like why Netflix is doing this? Obviously, we know why Ubisoft is doing this.
I think this is just a good move in general for Netflix because you can see that like it said in the article. We did one write up as well for Collider, but seeing the success of The Witcher, seeing just how much popularity that's brought to the service, and then that's one of the shows that actually like I feel like Netflix is more invested in renewing. Like when it comes to Netflix doing original projects or anything like that, there's always a risk of like, all right, will it get canceled after the first
Yeah,
season? Will it have like a
it's kind of a
will it have a
problem.
yeah, we'll have like a long investment in it, and it seems they're going to put more stock into renewing these video game properties that they're adapting because there's more source material, there's more things that they can draw out of it. So I'm interested in this from that standpoint. But I think this is all around just a good move for them to do more adapting of video games as a television series rather than a movie, as we've seen. We've seen the Assassin's Creed movie, didn't really like it too much. Thought
Boo,
some of the action was dope,
boo.
but yeah, and that's just coming from somebody who's not even like that big of a fan of it in the first place. So I'm excited to see what they do to actually flesh out the material and like bring it to life this way. And I think it's cool that they're also going to potentially be doing an animated series as well as an anime. So really just trying to milk as much as they can from this Assassin's Creed franchise.
Yeah, I'm interested. I'm what you would call like Assassin's Creed casual, where like
Mm-hmm.
I've played some of the games, the first, second, Black Flag, Odyssey, or whatever, but I'm not like one of those every single uh, iteration that I have to play or whatnot. And so I'm familiar with the lore of it, but I'm not like deeply invested. It sounds like they may. I think the rumor is that they may focus on the Ezio stuff, which is I think Assassin's Creed 2 and on. Um, but yeah, that movie though is the one that kind of like, ooh, I don't want it to be anything like the movie. I thought that
Yeah.
movie was terrible. I like Michael Fassbender. The director, I think that was the only thing I saw of his, but apparently he had done some stuff that was better before. But that movie itself was like, okay, the movie. I know you have that whole um, kind of storyline where it's the present day slash maybe slightly in the future where he goes back into the past, but they focused way too much on the present slash future timeline. Like I just want to see Assassin's Creed back, you know, in during that historical time. So I hope that they don't take the lead from anything that happens in the movie. And maybe that's the thing is maybe with the success of The Witcher, we have Resident Evil coming out. We also have Halo. Remember, Halo's coming out on
Mm-hmm.
Showtime. Maybe you know, TV series is the right medium for video games versus movies. I don't know. Maybe they're both. Maybe you can. I mean, I do believe there could be good video game movies. I do believe there could be good video game TV series, but I don't know. Maybe TV series are just easier to do for these franchises.
Yeah, and I'm hoping like this I'm just hoping that we're gonna see like we see with this Netflix doing more of adapting more, doing TV series, and then you have Sony on the other hand, you see them with this Uncharted movie. So I'm hoping you're right where that you can do both. Although I've been vocal about how like I'd rather see an Uncharted TV series because you have over 4 games of material to really flesh out, especially with it being such a character driven game. Like you can't fit one like it trying to fit one game into one movie is just going to be like I hope they don't do that. So I'm trying to be more cautiously optimistic about them approaching it from like although we do know a lot of Nathan's storytelling and whatnot, no, backstory. I hope they like find a way to make it to where although it's an Uncharted movie, it doesn't feel like it's so derivative of the games to where like, yeah, they are telling an Uncharted story, but it's more of a, they're telling it from their perspective. It's not ruining the source material. So they can do that one Uncharted. I mean, with the Uncharted movie, then I'm all good with it. But with this Assassin's Creed thing, I'm definitely more excited about this because although, like I said, I'm not really in the genre at all. Like this does entice me to want to actually dive into the video games more and get a little bit more information, get a little bit more backstory into it, so I know what I'm going to be jumping into TV wise.
Yeah, I assume it would be with the Ezio character in Renaissance Italy, just because the other ones, there's like they kind of skip around. They have the Crusades, they have the Revolutionary War, ancient Egypt, we have Greece, we have the Vikings, we have French Revolution, France. Those are all kind of all over the place. I think Ezio is probably the one that has the biggest storyline to do if they want to do this, especially a long
Yeah,
series for
and
multiple seasons. I'm assuming.
they can approach it like that, or they can even if they want to like approach it like a anthology type of series,
Mm-hmm.
like how they're doing with House on the Manor or Blind Manor and all that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So they could do something like that, and I think that'd definitely be interesting because although there isn't any showrunner or any directors attached, that's going to be one of the biggest make or break things about this. Is like, all right, who's attached to this project? Who are we casting around this? How much of the creative freedom are you going to give to the actual like people from Ubisoft, the creative directors and all that? Because we've just seen with them with Netflix recently, like they had a issue with Avatar: The Last Airbender and the creator. So like
Mm-hmm.
it's all just depends on how much creative freedom is coming into the writers' room and all that. So definitely a lot of different ways they can approach this, and I'm excited to see what they do with it because I definitely would love a anthology type of series, different showrunners for a different season, bring different type of variety to it, and definitely diversify the content. So you never
Yeah,
know.
I don't think they'll go that route just because of the cost, to build
Mm.
the sets and whatnot, and because this is historical, the costumes and props and whatnot, and so
See, and I just had a good idea. So maybe like you have like a linear story, like a couple 3 seasons, like with Ezio or something like that, and then Netflix is like, all right, let's put some money, let's do like a special one-off movie of a different like of one of the other games, and then do it that way or something like that. I think that'd be pretty interesting, but definitely trusted now that it's in Netflix hands. It just depends on who the showrunner is and the creative freedom that Netflix
yeah.
will allow them to bring into the room.
Yeah, and I would assume they're going to put a lot of money behind this. You had mentioned before, like Netflix is kind of notorious for not. Before, when they had like not that much content, they would like ride series like for a long, long time, even if they weren't that great. Now, like you have these really good series, like you're talking about Dark Crystal, Mindhunter, Glow. What was some other more recent ones too that were like canceled? That just
Oh,
that had a
it's
good that had good
what's it
fan
called?
bases,
The
but I guess
OA.
they
The
were
OA is another one.
yeah, there's just a whole bunch of stuff that maybe didn't have the biggest view. Obviously, if they had huge views, they wouldn't cancel them, but had more of like diehard audiences to them. But they
Yeah, I
were
think it's
critically
partly.
acclaimed.
Yeah, I think it's partly that, and I think I read somewhere is like once in like the Netflix shows, like once you get to like season 3 and season 4, that's when the actors start asking for bigger paychecks and stuff
Yeah,
like that. So Netflix was like, all right, well, let's just end it at you get 2 seasons.
yeah,
Might have
but
been a fire show, but we're not paying more, man.
yeah, but then you got to think about your audience, your viewers, because if you keep canceling shows prematurely, the audience is going to get upset and be like, well, why should I invest the time into watching a series, right? Like if I think something's going to be canceled within a season or two, I'll be like, okay, well, you know, this isn't a show I didn't really get into, but that Away show got canceled recently. I watched a few
It's a good
episodes of.
show.
Well, it wasn't for me, but they canceled that too. So it's like things are just getting canceled left and right, and if you don't build that trust with your audience, it's a lot harder to get them willing to invest the time into
Hmm.
watching stuff. But so we'll see with Assassin's Creed. For all you guys that are big Assassin's Creed fan, let us know what you think. What do you think? What storyline do you think they should follow? Should they start a new one? How excited are you for this? Especially, coming off of that 2016 movie, which I didn't find to be very good. So I'm still cautiously optimistic for this as well. Dorian, any last thoughts about this?
No, I'm hoping Netflix continue. I hope other streaming services take up and see what Netflix is doing with these video game adaptations. And although Netflix is one of the bigger streaming services, I know like it's a lot to ask of streaming services like drop a bunch of money on an IP. I just hope that they take it into consideration because I think video games, it's been stated before, video games have a lot of good storytelling in them. A lot of these franchises definitely deserve more detailed love than just 2-hour blockbuster movie if you're really going to tell the whole story. So I hope this is just Netflix is paving the way for hopefully other streaming services, maybe Disney Plus wants to come in the mix eventually, other streaming services to come on and
I forgot Last of Us on HBO.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. See, you got all these games being brought to TV. So I think this is just paving the way. So hopefully HBO's like, all right, they got Assassin's Creed, Showtime's got Halo, we got Last of Us. All right, we need to get another one. Let's start. Now
Fallout. Fallout is being developed by Amazon. So like all these video game franchises are kind of starting to be picked up because these streaming services need these big IPs to bring in subscribers and viewers. So it's definitely
it's an interesting time. Used to be trying to fight for Marvel characters and stuff. Now everybody's fighting for IPs over video games to bring to life. So you can't complain unless they do it wrong. Then you can't complain.
Yes, for sure. All right, guys. Dorian, where can people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at Dorian Parks and Rec. You can find me on Instagram at Dorian Parks, and you can find me right here at Collider Games.
And you guys can find me on Twitter at ThinkHero and on Instagram, Dennis.tzng. You can also find me on Oculus and Dorian as well, playing Population 1. If you're into that, check out our Population 1 First Impressions, where you can find our screen names and everything. And hopefully we can get better at that game. All right. Until next time, subscribe to this channel, youtube.com/Collider Games. And subscribe to our podcast feed. That's Collider Factor feed. Until next time, see you guys later.